Is tech sales one of those long hours type of jobs? And if we get into tech sales, how much time should we expect to be actually working on a day-to-day basis? And more importantly, is it going to impact our sleep, our level of free time? Don't worry, guys. We're going to address all these questions right now. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Danilo Caprick here, aka the best dressed man in tech sales. Don't forget it. And in today's video, what we're going to talk about is how many hours do we really have to put in if we're in tech sales? Is it one of those things where this is going to eat up all our free time, going to impact our sleep? Let's get into it right now so you can understand how intensive and how many hours you should expect to work on a day-to-day basis if you decide to get into tech sales. All right, guys, so the answer directly is yes. Tech sales will be a job where you have to put in long hours big if here, if you don't manage your time well and you have a reactive approach to your day. Here's exactly what I mean. Number one, you will be putting in long hours if you answer every single email and every single Slack message that pops up, okay? If you get sucked into those notifications, you won't actually get the real stuff done and you'll be too busy doing all these tactical small things, which will take you away from the big picture items you need to get done, okay? So if you're responding reactively to every email and Slack message you get, it will cause you to have to work more than you need to. So that's the first thing I recommend you chill out with or be a little bit more strategic with is the constant notifications and managing those on your time, not just reacting to them blindly, but making scheduled time to specifically address your emails and Slack messages, all right? So that's the first thing that we can do to actually stop tech sales from being a long hours job, okay? Don't react to every single email and notification that you get because you're gonna get a lot of them. All right, the second thing that will cause tech sales to be a long hours type job is if you do not manage your time, okay? What I mean by this is you need to schedule out everything, okay? Schedule your time for prospecting, schedule your time for lunch, schedule your time to actually execute on big picture action items, okay? So if you have a meeting with somebody and out of that meeting, they say, okay, I wanna set up a follow-up call for next week. I wanna set up a call with this person at your company, and I want you to submit the support ticket. You have to find time to get all that done, okay? And I think the best way to do this is to schedule it, because if you don't schedule it, then it's kind of, oh, you'll get to it when you get to it. And if you don't get to it sooner than later, could impact that client, could impact the way they look at you, look at your company, and now everybody's not so happy, right? So manage your time well by scheduling out everything, because if you don't do this, then you increase the likelihood that you're gonna be working long hours because you'll get done through the day and be like, oh my God, I completely forgot to do those action items. So don't be that guy or gal, okay? All right, guys, the next thing that most people do that causes tech sales to be a long hours type job is they overschedule themselves, okay? So after you've been in tech sales for a while, you're gonna have a good sense of how many meetings is too many for one day, okay? Because depending on what you sell and your company, how it runs, you might find that maybe the maximum you can do all day is 3 client meetings, right? Let's say each of those meetings is 30 minutes. That's an hour and 30 minutes of just meetings. Then you might need 30 minutes from each meeting just to act on the action items. You might need 20 minutes from each meeting just to type up the follow-up, right? There's a lot of things that you have to keep in mind here. So the key is find your limit, okay? Find out how many meetings is enough to keep you busy and find out how many meetings is too much, okay? For me personally, the sweet number is 3. I'm only taking 3 client meetings a day. Anything more than that is just way too much because the range of work involved with the follow-up is very, very variable for me, okay? So because of that, I'm going to give myself extra time to knock out all the action items. And I know that 3 meetings for me, based on my tenure at the company, is enough to keep me busy. And anything else after that, I'm pushing off to later in the week or scheduling it for a different time, okay? So the key thing is here, do not overschedule yourself. And this goes for internal meetings too, guys. If people reach out to you within your company and they want to meet, make sure you don't already have 5 meetings that day, okay? Make sure you don't have the number of meetings that you know is good for you and schedule over that, okay? So you gotta be really strong here mentally to say, hey, respectfully no, or respectfully, let's do this later on in the week. I'm way too busy right now, okay? So be mindful of how many meetings you already have and be strategic and tell yourself, hey, I am not taking more than X amount of meetings per day because I know that's my limit. If you don't do this, if you take more meetings and overschedule yourself, you might work till 6, 7, 8 p.m. and nobody wants to do that. So don't overschedule yourself. All right, guys, the fourth mistake that people make that makes tech sales into a long hours type job is they don't plan accordingly. Okay, so what you should be doing if you want to make yourself efficient and be able to close the laptop at 5 p.m. is you need to plan out your week. Okay, have your big picture objectives that you know you need to execute done on Sunday night or on Monday morning, and make time just to do that. Okay, make time to plan out your week, whether that's on Friday of the previous week or Monday of the current week. You need to block off maybe 30 minutes to 1 hour just to plan what needs to get done. Okay, doing this is going to allow you to stay on track and make sure that the most important, crucial things get done. Okay, if you are purely being reactive to your week and you just wake up on Monday and you just start blindly replying to emails and reactively just responding to anything, chances are you're going to be working later because you're not addressing the big priority, big picture items. You're just reactive to whatever comes your way. So that's the other thing, guys. Make sure you're taking a planned approach to your week, because if you don't, again, you increase the likelihood that you're going to get sidetracked or spend too much time on items that don't really matter. And that's going to cause you to have to spend more time later on in the day when you're like, oh man, I totally forgot I have to do this. So take a planned approach to your week. Do not be reactive. So guys, those are some of the common ways that I see people turn tech sales into a long hours type job. But rest assured that you can definitely have a set schedule where, let's say you're working literally from 9 in the morning to 5 p.m. and shut the laptop, okay? So you can really have the freedom in tech sales to create your day and structure your weeks however you see fit. But if you make the mistake of doing some of those things we just talked about and you're reactive, chances are you're gonna be working till 6, 7 p.m. at night, maybe even later, right? So the overall message I wanna give here is that tech sales naturally by itself is not a long hours type job. But if you don't plan accordingly and you have a very reactive approach to your week and you overschedule yourself, then it's going to be a long hours type of job. So overall, the message is, guys, find your sweet spot, create your own system, and manage your time well so that you don't have to be working late hours into the night. Because what you'll find is there's always more to do. That's the thing about tech sales, guys. There's always more prospecting you could have done. There's always more pipeline to be created. There's always more action items that you could act on. There's always more value you can bring to your clients. So the list is never ending. But you have to find your personal answer to how much do I want to do today and what's realistic for me. And making sure you get the real priority things done, not just the Slack messages and email messages, the tactical, not strategic stuff, okay? So overall, I hope that gives you guys a more realistic sense of what you can do to make tech sales a complete 9 to 5 and avoid having to work long hours. The last thing I'll say about this, guys, is you want to pay attention as you're interviewing at the company culture and ask people about this straight up. You might want to ask people, hey, is this the type of company where they glorify hard work? Because I have been a part of some companies or even just some departments within companies where they glorify this type of stuff, where they say like, oh, so-and-so worked till 10 p.m. last night, or they like seeing emails that come out super late at night. You want to be able to try and ask about this as you're interviewing, because believe it or not, there are some companies and some cultures where this type of behavior is actually looked at in a positive way. But there are also companies who look down upon this and they don't want you working late. And they want you to have a very tight schedule that is, working for you. So that's one thing you can do as you're searching to understand the culture and say, hey, how often are people working long hours? How is that looked at here, right? So that's one little piece of advice I might leave you with. But other than that, guys, I hope that answers the question of, is tech sales a career where you have to put in long hours? The answer is no, unless you're completely reactive with your, tasks and calendar and you don't plan accordingly. There you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the subscribe button below. Also, if you haven't done so already, go follow me on LinkedIn, send me a DM. I promise I reply to everybody. And last but not least, if you are in tech sales already, or if you're trying to break into tech sales, go ahead and join us at the B2B Syndicate. See what we got cooking over there. Either way, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.